This scout report might be the most important one that you see all year. Viktor Gyokeres is fast becoming a complete joke, and we're going to tell you exactly why every big club is keeping tabs on him, despite the fact that he had a couple of failed moves and is just a championship striker. Well, he's pretty good, guys, okay? And before we get into that, something really, really important, actually, I want to talk about. Where my XO crew at? If you know what I'm talking about, you're one of the OGs, and I love you. Anyway, scoring frequency. Take-on ability and creative ability are just some factors that have earned him the tag of the next Ibrahimovic. So where has he come from? Well, this is quite possibly the exact moment when Brighton made one of their biggest mistakes. This was the moment that Viktor Gyokeres scored a 90th minute winner in the 2018 Premier League 2 game against Swansea. It was a goal assisted by Ben White. Remember him? He went on to do quite well. And Brighton, of course, generally have got it right. And they had got it right, but they let him slip through his fingers. Let's talk about those failed loans, because if you flash forward 18 months, and Gyokeres has gone through 2 failed loan spells at Swansea and a separate spell at St. Pauli in Germany. But his third, and what proved to be his last loan, was the key in all of this. And it could be the moment that has changed his career and resulted in us making this whole video. This video doesn't get made if he doesn't make this loan move. And that, of course, was the loan move to Coventry City. It was one where he actually only scored 3 goals in 19 games, but there was one thing that everyone else had missed that Coventry didn't. This moment of movement that we're about to show you might have happened in the Championship, but it is one of the early signs that showed us that one day the likes of Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea would all be rumoured and quite possibly desperate to sign him, especially in an era where there aren't that many out-and-out central strikers with the capacity that Gyokeres has. If we move it on one, he takes this little step back. This is really, really clever. And if we move it on one more, that gives him the space to get the chance to then score past Bryce Samba. And it was a moment that changed everything for Gyokeres, because this was his first goal after signing for Coventry on a permanent. But scoring on his first game after a permanent move away from Brighton, it gave him exactly what he needed: a platform of confidence to succeed and a manager who believed in him. But that still doesn't explain the 100 million valuation that he's been dubbed with this year. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Last season at Coventry, Gyokeres started to be noticed more than ever last season, because he picked up 21 goals and 10 assists in the Championship. But his achievements were still overlooked by Chuba Akpom. He got the Player of the Season for the Division Award. And this wasn't the first time that he's been overlooked in his career. Brighton, Swansea and St. Pauli can attest to this, of course. But it could also be the last time that he's overlooked. The term exploding is used more and more when someone gets significantly better, but I think with Gyokeres we really have to mean it. Because if you think that 21 goals in 46 matches last season was good, wait until you hear his stats this year. Last season, Gyokeres averaged a goal every 192 minutes in the Championship, which is great. This season, however, he's averaging a goal every 109 minutes in a league that is of a higher standard. He has a unique finishing method that I can't, in good conscience, really compare to any other striker in Europe right now. And I'll show you what I mean by this in some of the pictures that we've got here. But importantly, he's not just a finisher. He's immensely creative, and he has hidden facets to his game that none of Europe's top clubs have noticed until now. It's really in the forefront of everyone's mind. And with Gyokeres being a 6'2" striker, the early preconception of him was that he was always going to be a bit of a target man, and that could have been the reason for him being misused in his past. But what we have here is proof that he's a multitude of different attacking players, all rolled up into one. In this freeze frame, a lot of people will assess the situation of Gyokeres making a dummy run to create a gap between the centre-backs. So this is him here. And he's making this curled run down here to create that little bit of distance, let's say, between the 2 centre-backs having to move towards different markers, right? But what he's actually doing is demonstrating one of the reasons that he's being considered as this mercurial talent that's compared to Ibrahimovic. More of that later on. In reality, if we move it on one, he is demonstrating, firstly, his pace, but also his quality in other attacking areas that don't include goal scoring. He obviously moves along, one more and another one. He then actually picks out Pedro Gonçalves accurately with his weaker foot. He's right-footed, which is again a testament to how rounded he is creatively. And this isn't the only occasion that he's done it this season either. So that piece of action was in the Portuguese Cup, but in Liga Portugal, he's registered a further 8 assists this season. And they get better and better with every clip that you watch from this guy. This particular assist, I absolutely love it. It is outrageous. And if you can spot why just from this freeze frame, then I'll be absolutely amazed, because 99% of players would shoot in this situation, but this is where Gyokeres is different. He accurately finds a teammate that I don't really know how he even saw him coming. I guess maybe a little bit of trust there with Marcus Edwards, who is here. Gyokeres is here. Gyokeres, yes, here. You would generally think that it would be, he'd have a little pot shot, he'd go for this corner here, give it a go from a tight angle, see what happens, and look, going from across the goal, then maybe it'll come out to Marcus Edwards and he could go, wa-ta-ta-ta. But no. What he does is he does this gorgeous little pass with the outside of his right boot here. Now, if he used his left foot, it would be a bit more straight as a pass. And it would give the goalkeeper an opportunity to get to the ball. So the fact that he's got that presence of mind to use his right foot, to curl it that little bit, to give the attacker that chance, it's absolutely incredible vision, creativity from someone who you think, first of all, was a target man, now is an out-and-out striker by curving the ball away from the goalkeeper. As you can see here, taking on that move, and then we move it along, and he's able to get it away from the goalkeeper, and Marcus Edwards has a lovely, easy finish. It's absolutely fantastic creativity from Gyokeres, and something that I don't think you see with most forwards, because their heads are down and they're just trying to get their shot off. Now, the final score of this game was 5-1 to Sporting, and surprisingly, Gyokeres didn't score. Unsurprisingly, he got 3 assists. Do you get my point? Only Jeremy Doku has registered more assists in a single game than Gyokeres' hat-trick of assists against Estoril across Europe this season, but there's one thing that Gyokeres does that none of these players listed also do: his goals. He scores goals. Now, you best get excited now, because we haven't even discussed the best part of his game, which is, of course, goals! Here's a table from StatHead showing the players with the most goal involvements across Europe this season, and Gyokeres currently sits 4th in the whole of Europe, even after factoring in leagues like the Championship and the Eredivisie. Now, you may be wondering how I made these custom-made tables that will no doubt help me win arguments in the future. StatHead allows users to search the FBref database and create custom tables and leaderboards. You can get a 1-month free trial upon signing up, and then it's $9 or the equivalent in pounds a month to win all of your football arguments. That feels like a fair price, if I'm honest. But importantly, the website is powered by FBref. We all use FBref. It's so good. It's so detailed when it comes to football statistics. Who has the most open play chances, or even who has made the most errors leading to an opponent's chance. With the best thing of all being that you have access to stats backing to 1992. It's one of the most comprehensive sports search engines out there, which makes it a blessing when creating informative videos such as this one to back up what we're saying. That's what we're always looking to do on this channel. And to be able to get stats on players from outside of the top 5 leagues that aren't as accessible, it's an absolute game changer. So if you're a fan or an enthusiast, a content creator, or even a journalist, this is the tool for you to need to elevate your football analysis. So big thanks to FBref and StatHead. Let's talk goals with Gyokeres, because from here you expect the ball to be crossed into him at probably head height, but the ball actually ends up here, which is quite a tricky one for a striker. But the intelligence of Gyokeres shows to firstly get across his opponent quickly enough. And he's doing it pretty sharpish, so much so that it's a bit of a blur at this point. But then the finish selection is absolutely world class. And the only problem was the fact that, he did it so fast that it was impossible to get a freeze frame that isn't blurry. So cameras can't even keep up with this guy right now. It's impressive, okay? What Gyokeres did was get in front of his defender, and he used the outside of his right boot again, which he obviously clearly likes, to get a little flick off. That'll do. Into the far post, which was the only place that he could have gone for it to be a goal. His understanding of where everyone is on the pitch, it feels really elite, and he uses it to his advantage all the time without anybody noticing. And you'd probably scoff if I told you that Gyokeres scores from this area of the pitch, or you just think that he's cut inside and then gone but no, he hasn't done that. So initially he makes a little move along this way to give himself that yard to face up the defender. Let's move it on one. Once we do that, you see him there, and then he uses his unique talents, his power, and his ability to get a shot off quickly. He is still got those old school elements of a proper striker who wants to get that shot off quickly, and he does it. He does it really, really well. And in a big game against Porto, I think that's Pepe, gets that move across, and then gets that shot off early. And look at the body language of the goalkeeper. By getting that shot off early, catching him off guard, he's not ready. And what happens? You know what's coming, don't you? Let's get some sound effects on this bad boy. The lad scores goals. An understanding of the space around him, an understanding of his assets as a player, an understanding of his opponent and his ability to go and get that yard as well, and an ability to be clinical. It has led to Gyokeres having a conversion rate of 26%. And then you have this goal, which, quite frankly, is disgusting. So the ball's played into him here, super tight. There's no chance of him scoring a goal here. Certainly, if he wants to get a shot off with his right foot, it's kind of pointless because it's going to get blocked. Can he play a little pass into his teammate there? Quite possibly, but are defenders understanding of that as well? Yeah, I think they are. So again, understanding the space here, but utilising his take on ability was really, really impressive because he's put these two centre-backs pretty much on their arse. If we move it on one, just with a simple drop of the shoulder, they both think that pass is coming in, but he's got a different idea in mind. He sends them both for a cup of tea. And importantly, in terms of being well-rounded once again and demonstrating technique, ability to generate power, a very minimal backlift as well, is the finish that steals the show with this one. Because it's on his left foot this time. And what happens? What bloody happens, guys? Goal. He's not even left-footed. There will be question marks. Of course there will. We saw it with Darwin Núñez in terms of that move from a league like this to a top league like the Premier League. The defenders will be that little bit better. It will be difficult. But he has absolutely everything in his armoury to really, really step on and be worth every penny that he gets bought for. Ability to finish, ability to take on players, ability to drop the shoulder, ability to get the shot off quickly. The guy is really, really good. And speaking of Darwin Núñez, if you want to check out a video where we analyse every single shot that Darwin Núñez has taken this year, then why not click right here?